Hey Achievers, this is Maya, founder of Healthy High Achievers. Join our global community and create healthier routines to avoid burnout and feel more calm and healthy. Let's get to it. Hey there, Achievers. Today I want to share a side of myself or an inner thought process that you probably didn't know yet, and you will soon understand why it relates to you. Okay, so sometimes I find it really hard to write out a new podcast episode or a new blog post. I find it hard to create tutorials, to give you advice on how to organize your life and your business because I'm a coach, okay? And I am trained to dive headfirst into someone else's world without preconceptions about what's true for me, what's true for people in general, and just really focus on that one person's inner world and find out what works for that one person. So I gather insights on your past successes, your failures, your current systems, your thought processes, and I help you find a personalized way to plan and get things done, both in business and in life. Why? Because what works for you will not work for someone else. And what works for you right now, today, might not even work for you in 6 months or down the road. So I find it so hard this time when my content manager said, hey, could you record something maybe about productivity? And I hesitated because I never know what to say. I don't have content pillars of what will I tell people. So I decided to explore this nuance and offer you the choice to pick what resonates with you. I was talking with a dear friend of mine last week who's also a coach, and she just coaches me sometimes. Like, we just help each other out when our mind's a mess and we don't know where to go next. And she just helped me see how I can just share the nuances and how I have both in me. Okay, I'll talk more about that later in this episode, but I have that very planned side, that Belgian planned me, and then that more spontaneous Peruvian me. And sometimes the two are in conflict, but they also work together really well. So it's not like I'm going to tell you, do whatever you want, let inspiration guide you at any given moment. But I also will not teach you to be time blocking and plan every time slot in your day and structure your days. No. So many productivity books, they give you that same roadmap when it comes to organizing your business and your life. So there are three main steps they often talk about. The first thing is to zoom out, okay? They're like, get clear on your big goals because that's what you're moving towards. Step two is mapping out the tasks. So from those big goals, you need to just break them down into projects, break those down into tasks, and give them a deadline, blah, blah, blah. And then the third one is you pick today's focus. So you prioritize maybe that next task on the list and you plan it today, you schedule it, and that connects to those bigger goals. Now, you might thrive by zooming out. Okay, so you might be really good at zooming out, reconnecting with your broader goals and need it. Or it might feel overwhelming because you're not clear yet on your future, and that's perfectly okay. Honestly, right now, I am in a phase of my life where it's the first time ever, I think, as I'm shifting into my 30s, is the first time I feel that I'm not clear on my bigger goals, my long term business goals, even my values in life. Everything just feels foggy, and that is okay. My coach just helps me see that when you're in a transition phase, when you're shifting, she's like, can you just accept that your values are evolving? And I think that's beautiful because even your business goals might be evolving. You might be guided into a direction in your business that you might have never even seen if you were to set your big goals or stick to the big goals you set 5 years ago and like, no, that's what I'm working towards. It's not going to change. Goals are fluid. Okay, goals can change. Okay, you might enjoy the second step. You might enjoy mapping out the tasks, okay, and using a project management system. Or it might be a source of anxiety for you, gazing at a long list of to dos and seeing that whole road that's ahead to reach that goal. It might give you more stress than do you good. And that's perfectly okay. You don't have to map out all the tasks. And then the third one, you might enjoy focusing on one important task each day, or you might really need to time block your whole day to get stuff done. And that's perfectly okay. So, my point here is not every system will work for you. Okay. So, even if you've read several productivity books, all chanting the same mantra of visualize your bigger goals, break them down into projects, define the tasks within each project, set up a schedule to tick those tasks off, it is perfectly okay if this doesn't resonate with you. Now, what you think you need to be good at, to be good at, you know, what I want to say is let me gather my thoughts. And even that is normal. That's why I don't even edit out these parts because I'm like, the brain is not always linear. It's not always planned. It's not always written out. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I improvise. It's all good. It's all changing. It's the both sides, okay? Planned and spontaneous. So, what you think you need to be good at in order to run an online business might not be necessary at all. You might not have to be a perfect project manager in order to run your business. So I'll give you the example of my own imposter syndrome. And in the meantime, I think in every episode, or especially the guest interviews when I have time to sip my tea while my guests are talking, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a different colorful cup every time. And today it's this gradient pink purple ish. Lovely. So I'm just going to sip. I'm such a tea person. If you know me, you know that. And you know my teacups. So I'll give you the example of my own imposter syndrome moment. Okay. And when I tell this to friends, it's funny, or people who know me or clients, they're like, you imposter syndrome? Impossible. You're the most organized person I know. Mm-mm. A client of mine told me that yesterday. But so last week, I had a major imposter syndrome moment. I delved into the world of ClickUp. ClickUp is like Asana, it's a task management, project management system. And I stumbled upon an incredible YouTuber just explaining how to streamline your business and client work using the system called ClickUp. And as I learned more about organizing projects in ClickUp, and honestly, I went all the way. Sometimes when I learn something new, I like to just dive in and geek out. And that's definitely what I did. But suddenly, I felt a major wave of imposter syndrome washing over me. Who am I to help others organize their business when I don't even use a structured system myself? Most of my stuff is in my phone notes, honestly. I'm not an expert in one specific task management platform. I'm not like that YouTuber who will give you a bunch of tutorials on how to organize literally everything and your business goals and your healthy habits and your life goals and your contacts and the books you're reading, everything in that same system. I don't have all the SOPs, the standard operating systems, for entrepreneurs, for my clients like other business managers do. I didn't go to OBM school. I have experience as a general manager in businesses and just finding order in the chaos as we go. I don't even have a schedule anymore. I literally don't have a schedule. I don't do that anymore. And suddenly my spontaneous Peruvian side began to feel like a fraud. I thought I needed to be an expert in ClickUp to create a detailed task management system for each of my clients. And the truth is, my clients don't even like that. So, while my structured Belgian side really thrives on systems and organization, my spontaneous Peruvian side aligns more with creatives like you, musicians, photographers, coaches, and fellow creatives who often rebel against too much structure. Recognize that one? So you have that inner rebel when there's too much structure and planning in your day. you start to sabotage that structure because you need space to breathe and create. You need to feel free. Now, last month, I started working with a new client who teaches people to embrace their creativity and share their stories through books. Now, when she shared her Google Drive and her ClickUp workspace, that's the reason why I dove into the whole universe of ClickUp in the first place, I couldn't help but wonder. Here's this highly creative person with this highly organized system created by her previous virtual assistants with linear brains, right? And yet, she struggled to find any document or video that she wanted to show me. So even I couldn't find what I was looking for inside the folders. Some people enjoy having folders within folders within folders, working with categories and subcategories to structure their business. But others, like you and me, probably need their main folders and documents front and center, visually pleasing and clear, just right there. Now, to give you an example, I don't want to have my client contract template, let's say, in a folder that says onboarding, inside the folder that says workflow, inside the folder that says clients, inside the folder that says operations. Okay. I have to do this whole logic thing of what's the logic folder for this to be in, right? And sometimes we just want the intuitive way of finding something. So even for this client, the same thing happened where she was like, hey, we can use to launch my program again, we can use old social media posts for the previous launches in 2021. We can maybe reuse some of that stuff for this launch. I was like, oh, yeah, great. So I went inside her drive where there's a folder that says main folder. So I don't know what all the other folders are, but there's a folder that says main folder. Inside main folder, there's a folder that has the name of her program. Inside that folder, there's marketing materials. Inside marketing materials, there's social media. Inside social media, there's Instagram. And inside Instagram, there's reels or posts or stories. And I opened posts and it's empty. And I just went like, ah. So there were so many empty folders. I was like, why would you even? So it's probably a linear brained VA who created the systems and was like, I'm just gonna create the folder structure first, and then we're gonna put things in there. But it drove me nuts. Okay. So it's embracing that intuition. But so what can you do? Let me just offer you a few tips if this episode strikes a chord with you. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, that's so me. Okay. I have 6 tips for you. 1, first of all, let me help you. Book a Bizz Audit with me or a Life Audit, and together we will find a new rhythm and a flexible system. See what I did there? Flexible system that works for your creative personality. Okay, I have both worlds inside of me, and that takes me to tip 2. Consider hiring a business manager who understands your creative inner world while managing your systems for you. And I have another episode about the number 1 challenge for the creative entrepreneur. I recommend you listen to that one because that's where I really lay out the difference between a visionary and integrator. Like in the book Rocket Fuel, they really talk about that beautifully. How you always have a person with the ideas who's often the founder of a creative business or any business. And then you have the integrator who's often the operations manager who can take those ideas from the visionary and implement them, okay? Put them into steps. So your assistant can just remind you of your bigger goals and guide you towards the next step in your journey, okay? So let's say you're one of those people like what I mentioned before, maybe you're really energized, and I do have a client who gets energized by every week reviewing the bigger goals, knowing where we're headed, but then he gets overwhelmed by the whole task list, right? So that whole task list, I might have that. I might keep that for you somewhere where you don't even have to look at it. And I just support you in, okay, what's the one next step in your journey? And we go from there. So you might just see the big goal and the next step, and I'll keep the space for you in between if you need that. Depends on your personality again. So, number 3, something that will go against many business coaches or business courses. You don't need a strict content calendar. Okay, you don't need a whole calendar of when which post is going to go out or when. I have it now with my content manager because she's giving me the ideas. I'm very much an integrator, I'm a doer, okay? And so I needed someone, a content manager, who can give me the ideas of what kind of reels and what kind of content to create. So she gives me the ideas, I look at them, and then we put them into a calendar so that we both know who's doing what at what time. But the next month, October might look very different. November might look very different. So there's no decision of like, oh, I need 3 posts a week, or I need to be active there, or I need to have, or my podcast episodes are going out every Friday. You know that's not true if you pay attention. And mostly you won't even notice, okay? You just need to find a way of sharing your brilliance that resonates with you. Whether you post 3 reels one week and go silent the next, it doesn't matter. Honestly, most people won't even notice. I know a friend of mine who said, "Oh my god, I went silent on Instagram. I was so busy with my other job and now I'm back at it." And I told her, "Dude, I used to always watch your stuff, and recently I saw a new reel of yours or post, and I was like, oh, here she is. My brain didn't even think, oh, she hasn't posted it. Like, I don't know if she was gone for a week or for a month. There's a dog outside that's distracting me. He was looking out the window, and I was like, please don't jump. So I was really worried there for a second. He's fine. He's fine. So I didn't even know if she was gone for a week or 6 months. I had just maybe slightly noticed that I hadn't seen anything from her in a while, but I didn't know if that was the Instagram algorithm not showing me her stuff or if it was her, you know? So it doesn't matter. People just want to connect with you. They want to look you up. They see your website maybe, and then they want to look you up, see who you are, understand what makes you tick, and spy on you just a little before actually working with you. You know, just a very safe, passive, without having that contact with you, just checking out your stuff. And I know I do. Before I work with someone, I will just check out everything they have on their website or their socials or maybe freebies and see if I like their style and what they're all about. And that's what this is about. That's what that content creation is about. Okay, number 4, you don't need a fixed working schedule. You understand your creativity has its ebbs and flows, right? It goes up and down and you can't force it. And the same goes for your productivity. Somehow, for some reason, we think productivity is so much different from creativity, and creativity will flow and it's not the same. And maybe I'll create today, maybe I won't. Productivity is the same. It goes up and down. We are not machines. You need to just accept your waves of productivity, embrace them, enjoy them, and then be gentle with yourself during those waves of just withdrawal, of less productivity, more sleepiness. Just take that nap and go with the flow. And that's a strong difference. It's something I really learned in Peru because I used to have a schedule and time blocking everything in Belgium. And then here I was in shock when I saw that people don't even have a schedule outside of their work. You know, sometimes work schedules, yes, but their social lives, their hobbies, they don't even use their calendar. When I talk to a friend and we agree to go for dinner in 2 days, and I like grab my phone and I grab my calendar and I put it in there, my husband's like, what are you doing? Why are you even, because that's my Belgian side, wanting to, in case I forget. But your productivity goes up and down, your energy goes up and down. And Peruvians are so good at flowing with their energy levels and flowing with, even if they feel like seeing people or not. In the evening, if they are about to meet with friends, they might just check in with their bodies naturally and their motivation and ask themselves, do I feel like seeing people now or not? And then they just might stay on their couch and tell the person, hey, you know what? Can we see each other tomorrow? Can we go for lunch instead? And it's all good. So accept that your productivity flows, goes up and down. It's normal, it's natural. We're not constant machines. Stop. And that's a whole other topic I often talk about. Stop calculating in like 24 hours a day in time. Okay. Start calculating in units of energy. And you have a different amount of energy every day. You have a different amount of motivation and productivity every day. And that is okay. Sometimes you can change that vibe and you can put on some music that helps you focus, and you can drink some more green tea or coffee. For you, maybe for me it's green tea. And that might work and you might feel motivated and get going again. But sometimes it might not work, and that's totally fine. Number 5, reward yourself with playfulness. After tackling more linear work, such as emails, invoicing, paperwork, website fixes, reward yourself with something playful. If you, after doing 1 hours of responding to emails, if you stay in that linear space, your mind may become restless, frustrated. It might lead you down a negative spiral. So step away from your desk, step away from the seriousness, because your brain is clearly frustrated because it needs to play. Engage in something creative, fun, playful, something spontaneous, but with zero expectations of what the outcome should be. Okay. So create for the sake of creating. It doesn't have to be a new creation for your business. It doesn't need to be posted or published or shared at all. If something cool comes out, share it, of course, if you feel like it, but just create and play for the sake of playing and creating. Okay. Then if the linear tasks, like if you're a creative person, and you're much more right brained. And if then you're doing a task that's much more left brained, if you stay in that space for too long, you'll get frustrated. Okay, so you need to balance it out and go to your favorite part again. That's the right brained, creative, intuitive part. Number 6, the last one I wanted to share with you today. As I was writing this and preparing this, I had so many ideas. And now, as I'm talking to you, I just add some more stuff that wasn't even in the script, let's say. But it's letting myself be guided by inspiration too. It's my right half too. So, number 6 is, rather than a task list, create a progress list. Especially if you're one of those people who feels really stressed out when you make a task list and it feels like it's too much. If you're the person who creates the list and then really enjoys checking it off, check, 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 sometimes I'm like that, fine, do it and give yourself a reward after every check, or do it in a different green color so that the brain's more happy after completing a task. Great. But if you feel drained, if a task list really, really just freaks you out, create a progress list. Anything that you get done that takes you closer to your goals, write it down on a piece of paper, make it visual, draw something if you like that, and make it pleasing for the brain. And then maybe even write next to it which big goal that is connected to. So I have a client who decided that his big goals are putting out more content and having more engagement with his clients and members. And there was a third one. Oh, streamlining his processes. Okay. So those are his 3 big focuses in his business. And so he has that just visually written or drawn, whatever, on pieces of paper in front of him, in front of his desk. And that's just what he looks at every day. And when he makes his progress list, he can write next to everything he's achieved or done or made progress in. He can write next to that which of the three categories that falls in, which of the three big focuses in his business that's connected to. And only that will give you that feeling of satisfaction, of getting closer to your goals. And you can look at it whenever you feel like you're not getting anything done. Okay, I could go on and on about this. Okay, but let's figure out what works for you and you alone. Now, you are a one of a kind, okay, and you deserve a way of living, functioning, working, and thinking that supports that one of a kindness and that unique personality that you have. So, I have clients I work with on an ongoing basis, just ongoing business support or ongoing life coaching to really declutter life and business and find more simplicity and live and work in a way that's just you. Okay. I did the same. I listened to many business coaches. I read many health books too. And I did all the things I thought I was supposed to do. And then there comes a point where you're like, it's not working for me. That's just not me, you know? I need to find a way that feels like me. And that's what I can help you with. So there's the ongoing services, but I also offer a one off service that's either a Bizz audit or a life audit. Okay. Or you can book both as well so that we can dive into your beautiful, unique inner world. In the Bizz audit, I'm going to go through everything I can find about your business and help you streamline that client journey and see what kind of systems might fit best for you and what you need right now to feel more calm and focused in your business. And then in the life audit, there's a busy life breakdown worksheet where you're going to evaluate all the clutter you have in every area of your life. I'm going to guide you through sort of a questionnaire where you can just drop it all on that piece of paper, everything you have going on in your mind and your personal life. And then in a decluttering coaching session, we will talk about, okay, what is stressing you out the most? What can we do about it? We will make a 3-month game plan for you to just really find that calmness and that balance in your personal life. See how some people need both, so that's totally fine. And then we can really dive into your inner world, whether it's business or life. Okay, so that was it for today. That's all I wanted to share. I'm really passionate about this topic because I see it again and again and again how more people need this. And it's like the saying, you do you. That's what it is. You do you. And I can help you for you to do you. So I'd love to hear what part resonated with you. Send me a DM on Instagram or send me on my website through the contact form, whatever it is. And just let's normalize having flexible systems. I'd love to hear from you what part resonated, what you feel you need more of or less of. And that will really help me create more content into that direction in the future and help you out, hopefully, a bit more. So, thank you so much for listening to this today. I hope it inspired you. I hope you just have that one small takeaway that you could take from this episode and implement it into your life. And well, I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or your evening. Take care. Hey Achievers, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did recording it. Please, please, please subscribe and review my podcast. It would mean the world to me. See you in the next episode.